Hey everybody, this is Cad Roll Hunter, and I got lucky at the bank this week. I stopped in and asked for pennies and if they had anything cool, and I got pennies, and I got a couple cool things too. So stay tuned, and we're gonna get into these. Hi everybody, this is James, and you're watching my channel, Cad Roll Hunter. That's right, I got pennies at the bank. I got 20 rolls here. I actually got more than that, but as I've mentioned before, I don't like to do more than 20 rolls in a video because it makes the video too long. There's usually lots of good things to look for in here, but these ones are all taped on the end, so I can't really see if there's any enders. That's okay, we're gonna get in them. But I also stopped and asked if they had anything cool, and I went to two different branches, and I got two different things. I got a 1968 50-cent piece. It's obviously circulated, you can see that here, with Queen Elizabeth II. And at the next branch, I got another one. This is a 1998, very similar. The crest is a little bit smaller, the coat of arms, I should say. A little bit of circulation, but that's a really cool find. So I always ask if they've got them. They'll give them to me at face value, which is pretty cool. But I'm excited to get into these rolls and see what we've got. Of course, we're going to be looking for any older coins, King George VI, laureate portraits for sure. If we could find a King George V, that would be amazing. That would be my first ever. But we're looking for errors, varieties, foreigns, you name it. We're going to get into these rolls and see what we can find. I'm just in the first roll. I'm in the third coin, and this might be a really good sign because we've got a wheat cent here, and it is reverse facing. We'll flip it over and see what we've got. It is a 1946, so you can see there's some a mix of newer and obviously some older stuff here in these rolls, so I'm really hoping that this is a good sign. There might be some good old stuff in here, but a wheatie to start the hunt is a pretty good sign. Partway through that roll, we've got our first laureate portrait here, and it looks like we're going to have an interesting mix. So this is a 1962. We'll check all of these to see if they're the hanging digits. It's a little harder to tell when they're in circulated condition. But I can see we've got some American edges in here, some newer Lincoln memorials. We've got some newer Canadians, some older Canadians. Really interesting mix of coins, so we'll see what we got. Roll number 3, and we're going to have our second laureate portrait, our second 1962 of the hunt. Same roll, we got our first 1963 here. Roll number 4, and we've got a beautiful, shiny Lincoln Memorial cent. It looks gorgeous. It's probably something pretty new. We'll just flip it over and we'll take a peek. It's a gorgeous 1997. I'm going to check that and see if that might have a spot in my album. We're finding some zinc cents, and a couple of American copper, and there is our copper cup right now. So we're actually finding kind of a 50-50 split between newer Canadian pennies up to maybe 2003, but we're finding definitely some zinc and copper. We'll see what else we got. Same roll, I got a 1967 with the Rock Dove in flight on the reverse, and of course we want to check all of these for any of the doubling that we might find along Canada and the date. On the reverse, we don't see it here, and particularly we're also looking for that double die obverse. We would see doubling here. I'm seeing a little something going on. I can see some kind of a doubling over here on the D. It looks like it is rotated. I'm seeing it over here. It looks like we have found some doubled die, or a double die. It looks like it's pretty significant, particularly on D, G, and the R and the E, and a little bit on that other G. We'll just flip it over and see if it carries over onto any of the other lettering over here. It looks like we're seeing it as well on Elizabeth. You can see it on the B, the T. I'll give this a closer look and try to see if I can determine if this is some sort of machine doubling, but this looks like it might be that rotated hub doubling. Really cool. We'll set that aside. Roll number 5, we're going to have another laureate portrait. It's our first 1964 of the hunt. That's a cool one for sure. Roll 6, we've got another laureate portrait. This one has definitely seen better days. It's kind of banged up. Let's see what we got. It's a 1964 in pretty rough shape. Same roll, another really nice Lincoln penny, a 1996. I'll check that also against my album, but right behind it, I saw that we had another laureate portrait. This one is another 1964 in much better shape than that last one. I just opened up roll number 7 into my hands, and we're going to have a find for sure because there is a smaller reeded edge in there. It looks like we're going to have a dime. We'll just flip this over and see what we got. We'll just sort of flip these guys and see if we can find that dime. Where did it go? There it is. It's a pretty dark edge, so it could be just something pretty grungy. And that looks like silver. It looks tarnished. Let's throw that under the scope. That's a 1946. Hold on a second. A 1946. We found a silver American dime in our Canadian penny hunt. Just going to flip it over and see if it has a mint mark. We would see it to the left of that torch there, but there is not. We got a 1946 silver 90% US dime in our penny roll. That's awesome. I've never had that happen before. I mean, we find dimes fairly regularly, and it's always disappointing. This time, not at all. We got silver in our penny hunt. Same roll, and we've got an older edge peeking out here. We can see behind this 1981, we're going to have a King George VI. And it is pre the independence of India. We can see that Et Ind Imp and Emperor of India. And that is a 1939. So this roll has been awesome. We got a silver dime and a 1930s Canadian penny. Incredible. Roll number 8, I just cleared a penny away to find another George VI. And this looks like it's got great detail. You can see lots of detail in the hair. Let's see what we've got. This one is a nice looking one. A 1940. So we got the next year, we got a 39 and a 40. Just one roll apart. Roll number 9, we got another oldie. It's another King George VI this time. It's a 1945. Same roll, we got a pretty nice looking 1967 with most of its luster on here. And we'll just check it to see if we've got any of that doubling. So nothing on Canada or the date. And if we flip it over, we're not seeing anything here. All those letters are pretty crisp. Not at all like that last one we found where we could clearly see some doubling on some of those letters. Last coin of roll number 9 is a 1979. And I just bring you in because we've got a little bit of doubling here. This is the double 9. If I rotate it around, you can really see it just at the base of that 9. Not terribly significant, but that's the die deteriorated double 9 in the 1979. Roll number 11, and this is just incredible. So we found already one really old US coin, well, maybe a couple, and look what we've got here. A 1943 Denver minted steel penny, another wheat cent. This is the third steel penny that I found in recent hunts. This is the kind of thing I never thought that you would ever find even just one of, let alone 3. And I think the other 2 were both 43 Philadelphia. So this is the 43 Denver. Let's just throw this under the scope and get a closer peek. All right, there it is, totally verified. There is our 43 Denver steel cent. Incredible. That's just crazy. Roll 12, we got a pretty shiny looking copper cent. Let's just take a quick peek. Oh, if I can get it. It is a really nice looking 1977. We're in roll number 13, and this is another 1967 that is exhibiting the same orientation of minor doubling that we saw on the other one. We can see it on the inside of the D and on this serif, the outside of the G there, the R, the E. And just like the last one, as we carry across to the other letters, we don't see it. And if we look over on Elizabeth, we can see a little bit of doubling on this side too. So again, you can see it on the I, you see the A, the B. Very interesting. I'll set this one aside as well. It's not in great condition, but definitely an interesting coin. Roll number 14, we've got a 1992 here, and we may as well scope it. There's a super rare variety, the close AM, where the A and the M in America on the reverse were right close together. We could probably see here with the naked eye, they're not They don't look like they're touching, but let's scope it just to be sure. All right, well, all we got here was the regular run-of-the-mill wide AM variety, but you're not going to find it if you don't look for it. In roll 15, and I got another 1967 here. This is probably the fourth one in this roll that was in pretty decent shape. This one's got a little spot on it, but you can see lots of luster. But when I threw it under the scope, have a peek at what we saw here. Look at that date. We can see some serious doubling on 1967 and on the, I think the 6 and the 7. Not seeing anything, a little bit on Canada. Yeah, I can see it on the C, and over on the N I can see that. And if we flip it over, we want to check and see, and I haven't done this yet, to see if there's anything on this side. And I'm not really seeing that double die obverse here, but we definitely have some doubling on the date and on Canada. That is pretty awesome. Same roll, and it's been a little while, but we've got another laureate portrait. This time, it's another 1963. And just a little further back, we got another one. This time it's a 64. And we've got another suspicious looking Lincoln cent. And it is, look at that. That is just absolutely crazy. It is another steel cent. A 1943. I'm going to throw this under the scope. That's incredible. 2 in the same hunt. Look at that. Just mind-boggling. I just can't imagine, I couldn't imagine that would have happened, but 2 steel cents in one hunt, a 1943 and a 1943D. Next roll number 16, we got a really substantial double 7-9, really cool. Roll 17, another laureate portrait 1964. Same roll, and we got a gorgeous 1977. I'll put that in my rolls for sure. Roll number 18, we got ourselves another 1962 here. And we may as well just take a peek and see if this could possibly be the hanging 2. Well, I put it under the scope, and we do have the hanging 2. It's usually easier to see if there's any sort of mint luster left on the coin. But you can see that die clash there resulting from the Queen's bust on the other side of the coin. If I flip it around, you can actually sort of see, it's a way to just tell. You can actually see that a little bit easier if you flip it around a little bit just to see. But that is the 1962 hanging 2. Really cool. Same roll, and we're going to have another oldie here. We got our buddy George looking at us. This one is a 1946. Right at the end of roll 19, we got another 1962. Very last roll. We're just getting started here, and we've got another 1962. Still going, another laureate portrait just facing us here. Let's see what we got. It's another 62. We got a pretty grungy looking 1960D, but there's a few varieties we can look for here. So I'll throw it under this scope. This is the 1960D, a pretty standard large date with the you can see there's a lot of the 6 at the top here. There's also like you can get a small or large date over small date or small date over large date. There's some different mint marks on here. This looks like the pretty standard fare though. So we have hunted all 20 rolls. That's it for that. I'll organize the finds and give you a bit of a wrap up. Well, that was another great penny hunt. We got about 2.5 cups of copper and 1 pretty full cup of zinc and steel cents. And of course, we were hunting for copper, and it's crazy because we ended up getting steel and silver as well, which is pretty awesome. So just to recap what we got a a little stack of American copper here, and we got some zinc cents as well. I'll put those away. In the back row, we got some really nice looking cents to look at. So those 67s and 77s, I'm going to see if I can put them in my rolls. And a couple to check against my collection, my US pennies or cents. We found a couple of cool things. We found 3 1967s with some doubling. One particularly with some really cool doubling on the date, and some others that had some interesting doubling on the obverse. We got a couple of 1979s that had some significant doubling on the dates. In our laureate portrait finds, we found 6 1962s, including this one on the top that had the hanging 2, so that die clash. We got a couple 63s, and we got 5 1964s. Some even older stuff, we got that 39, a 40, a 45, and a 46, all King George VI. And the crazy cool finds that we had. So we're always looking for wheat cents, of course. Who would have thunk we would get 3 wheat cents and 2 of them would be steel? That's just crazy. We got that 43, that 43D, and of course we got that 46. And then if it could get any crazier than that, we got this 1946 Silver Roosevelt Dime with some pretty significant toning on it, in a penny roll, a US silver dime in a penny roll. What do you think about that, eh? So I really hope you enjoyed this hunt. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Give it a like. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, Cadroll Hunter, please do that now. Please come around again and watch my videos. I have new videos out all the time. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again next time.